Ben Taylor in the Bing Lounge, and here comes your drummer. Got lost in the labyrinths of the Bing, did you? It's great to have you all here. Introduce you guys.
This is Mark Pusey on the drums and percussion, or little box that he's hitting. He hits things. And that's David Saw, and he picks things.
And you write and sing things, Ben Taylor.
I do.
It's great to have you back in Portland. We were talking about how long it's been since you and I first met, and it's been longer than 4 years.
It has?
Maybe, I think so, maybe back
I think
a couple.
maybe 5 or even 6 years ago. It's been a long time. I recognized you as soon as I saw you, though. I'm allergic to names, so they told me your name, and I was like,
well, I'm glad that you could remember a face. It's great to see your face as well. But it has been 4 years since a new album. And, you know, I think that was, like, aside from hatching the new album, what's been going on?
I just kept on hatching and rehatching it. You know, I was the owner of my own label, and I was the only person that I was accountable to. And as such, until I ran out of money, I just kept on remaking the thing, you know. I think that's the problem with being a perfectionist in charge of your own destiny, obviously. But so I kept on doing it, and then finally I ran out of money, and I found somebody to distribute it for me, to raise the money for the promotion and the marketing, etc. And they actually introduced me to this idea of a deadline, and I.
Darn.
It was inspiring, man. Deadline is wonderful.
Well, you
saved me from myself, you know.
You could have called your album Deadline, but you call it Listening. What's the story behind that?
I wanted it to be called Listening, but, well, David and I wrote a song called Listening on it. And when I was trying to figure out what to call the album, I was going through everything, and I get embarrassed about the sort of promotional side, like the self-promotion thing. Like, I'm doing a show in town, and I really want to I want people to turn up, and I think it's going to be cool. And if I didn't think I was all right, I wouldn't be doing it. But it gets awkward to be like, oh, I'm going to be so fantastic. You got to come listen to me play. Like, that's, it just doesn't feel right. So it's one of the things I notice is if I have a philanthropical cause or a charity benefit, it never feels awkward. I always say, hey, come down to the show, come down, check out this great cause that we're going to, raise money and awareness for. So I thought of any of the songs on the name of my album, Listening was a good cause to promote. Like, to be on tour actually promoting listening is a good thing. I, as a performer, I do spend more time being listened to than I do listening to others. So we got to thinking about it, and I made it my ambition to become a better listener as well. And that's given me a lot more inspiration to be listened to a lot more.
Well, that's the cause tonight at the Mission Theater is Ben Taylor, and you can listen.
Well, listening. I'm here promoting listening. As a matter of fact, we're going to conduct a listening symposium, and we're going to do it on your guys' ears.
Very, very nice. Well, James Taylor, your dad, Carly Simon, your mom, and Sister Sally is a musician. Everybody's musical in the family. I like to think that at some point in your young life, there were hootenannies around a kitchen table. But what was the bug that bit everybody?
I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I think that my parents set such good, cool archetypal examples of what it was like to be a human being that it just occurred to everybody to be musicians, But there weren't hootenannies around the table, My father is very guarded about his sort of musical process, his songwriting process. He locks himself away in a hole somewhere where no one knows where he is and comes out with genius. My mom, she likes to write in the middle of the night, so it would be, on a school night or something, she'd wake us up at 2 a.m. and be like, I just wrote a new chorus, you gotta listen to this. Very, very different ways, but I think both of my parents, because they were aware that they had set such potentially unrealistic examples of success, they were careful not to pressure us to do anything musical in case we were going to get neurotic about it, which of course is obvious.
As you can tell, you're a completely whole person, Ben Taylor. Very healthy.
But so no, I never even started playing guitar until I was in my teens, never started really singing and writing songs until I was in my 20s.
Yeah. Just sticking with your dad, if I could, for one more moment, he just sort of kind of announced that there will be another album, but it may be his last one, and that sounds like the R word to me, like as
what's the R word?
Retire. Have you ever talked to him about that? What did you think when he announced that? Or is this the first you're hearing about it?
No. I've heard this for years.
Oh, you heard it here in the Bing first, people.
If he made some sort of a press, like if he did it at a press conference or something like that.
Yeah, it was like a Rolling Stone
This is the
thing.
first I'm hearing of this, but and that might mean he actually has to do it. You know, his way of actually making himself
Putting it out there in the world, right?
The whatever 40-year momentum that he's got going. The only way might be to promise the world it's what he's going to do.
Well, let's talk a little bit about a particular song of yours that really struck me, that maybe goes to the core of who you are as a writer. The first single from listening is "Oh Brother," and you've been talking about behind the scenes thing, the vibe of this song. I want you to share that with us.
I have two young twin 11-year-old brothers. You know, I guess they're half brothers, but that's what they tell me. I tell them there's no such thing as half brothers. But so it's amazing because I've watched them develop from, tiny little raisin-like things with fully developed finger and toenails, oddly enough, into little versions of myself. And it's terrifying, because I see them going through some of the same stuff that I went through, and I wish that I could give them the advice that in hindsight is so clear, but, just wouldn't occur to them. So I was watching them pick out their own clothes for school for the first time. And they were digging themselves in the mirror and sort of angling to and fro. My brother looked at me and said, does this look cool? And it brought me back to the time when I thought that I could do something or wear something to make my peers think I was cool, and I told him the only thing that I ever learned about cool was that it's an accident. I said, if you try, it's probably not going to be so cool. So what I suggest is figure out who you are, become that boy or that man, and then try to keep your cool. And that's as close as you can come to doing it on purpose. And he was not ready for that information.
Ben, it's so great.
He rolled his eyes and he said, man, does this look cool? So then I told my old man about it. I sang the song for my old man over the phone when I wrote it, and I asked him to write a bridge for me, a middle eight, and he said, yeah, no problem. A couple months passed, and I called him up again, and I said, hey, Pop, how's that bridge going? And he said, well, how about you demo it up and just hum a little bit on the bit where you want me to write, and I'll get it done for you straight away. And so I did it. We demoed it up, and in his section, I was mostly just making fun of him. I was going, no, 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 a lot because he likes to do that. Only when he's very happy. But I was saying if only we could get some of that good old time JT stuff right here, and that was what I sang sort of in the place we want. And he called me back 2 days later and said, that's a really good lyric.
So I think that means cue, oh brother, it's Ben Taylor at the Bing Lounge.